What is going on, guys? Welcome to another tanking guide for the Eternal Palace on normal difficulty for beginner tanks. Today we're going to be covering Blackwater Behemoth, which is the second encounter in the Eternal Palace and is by far a step down from the first boss, the Abyssal Commander Savara. First off, let me just start off by informing you that there is a way to get cheap games for this holiday period. Down in the description box below, G2A has some amazing offers and amazing games for sale on their website. So if you want to try something new or even find a game you've been interested in for a while, chances are they'll have it. Get yourself down there and check it out. Now that's over with, let's talk about the Blackwater Behemoth and how to execute this encounter as a tank. This encounter is a two-phase encounter, with one phase being the actual boss fight and the other being a very tedious intermission. Phase 1 starts when you pull the boss. A common mistake I see tanks making isn't a massive one, but it is unnecessary. When the boss is pulled, the DPS will be DPSing down one of the two puffer fish which appear on each platform after transitions as well. Tanks don't need to DPS or take the aura from the fish, because when you're attacked by the boss you'll gain a debuff named as Radiant Biomass. Radiant Biomass in basic terms means when the tank is hit he'll gain a debuff which allows us to be healed just like the bioluminescent cloud from the fish. But as tanks we must always be punished, so we will take roughly about 44,000 damage every 3 seconds for 15 seconds. This is reapplied from every melee hit and the boss will hit you with. Although the damage seems relatively high in number, defensives and gear tend to mitigate this effect really easily, causing almost no issue for healers. The main source of tank damage will come to the boss's stacking ability, which we're going to discuss next, which is Feeding Frenzy. This ability is the main source of damage for the tanks because when the boss attacks you, it tends to put his haste up by 8%, which doesn't sound like much at first, but when that starts stacking it can really cause a problem, especially in the higher difficulties. But as far as it goes, all you need to do is, much like any other fight, is manage your stacks depending on how geared you are and how knowledgeable you are of your tank. So my tank wasn't that great. Again, this is the same warrior tank from my first video, not majorly geared, so I took about 10 stacks before we were swapping. Now for the abilities that everybody kind of has to deal with. One of them being Toxic Spine, which is a debuff which will target multiple random players including tanks and deal roughly 32,000 damage every 3 seconds, which is no big worry, but it may as well be mentioned because in the harder difficulties it can cause a couple of problems. Also we have the Shock Pulse, which happens maybe 3 times on each platform. This ability causes you to be pushed back and also decreases its effect, like damage wise, the further away you are from the boss. Just be careful that when you straying away you don't stray out into the open water for too long, as you'll gain the Gaze from Below debuff which will flat out one shot you in 5 seconds regardless of the role you are playing. You also want to remain spread from other players about 5 yards to cancel out his bioelectric feelers, which cause roughly 44,000 damage to players within 5 yards of one another. During damage phases it's important to stay by the boss as much as possible to avoid bioelectric discharge, which only occurs when the boss doesn't have a target to melee. This is problematic as it inflicts 142,000 damage to all players, so unless you're moving from the Shock Pulse or changing platforms, hug the boss as a tank. Lastly, during the intermission phase, all you do as a tank is swim across to the boss, and you don't need to touch any of the fish. You can kind of help your DPS with them if you really want to, but it's not really needed. Just avoid the floating jellyfish in the middle of the cave, as they do tick in damage to you for about 8 seconds if you touch them. It's not massively damaging, but if you're already low health and you don't have the debuff anymore, it could be a little bit problematic. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you had have a great rest of your day. If you found this video helpful or informative, please do leave a like and maybe even subscribe for more guides. If there are questions left unanswered today, please don't hesitate to ask me below. My comment section is far from buzzing, so the likelihood is that I will see it. Until then, it's been Neath. Take it easy, guys. Bye now.